Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping straight into a really fascinating piece of source material today. It's a comprehensive 2026 comparison guide published by Atlant Security, and it's built specifically for Qatari business leaders and C-suite execs. If you've ever tried to navigate the cybersecurity landscape over there, you know it's incredibly complex. Well, this guide breaks it all down, giving you a very specific, no-nonsense framework to figure out who can actually protect your digital assets.
All right, here's how we're going to break this down today. 1. The stakes in Qatar. 2. How to vet providers. 3. Ranking 7 security specialties. 4. Case studies in action. And finally 5. Future trends and costs.
Starting right off with Section 1, the stakes in Qatar, or what the guide calls the 9 a.m. anomaly. To really ground us in reality, the source paints this incredibly vivid, high-stress scenario. Picture this. It's 9 a.m. in Doha. You're sipping your coffee, looking at a security dashboard. Suddenly, bam! A cluster of failed logins from Eastern Europe pops up, followed immediately by a massive spike in outbound traffic to some unknown server. Now, in Qatar's hyper-connected digital landscape, think smart cities, AI-driven finance, massive global events, a single breach like this, it costs millions, it tanks consumer trust, it invites massive regulatory fines. So yeah, the stakes literally could not be higher. And that brings us to a brilliant mindset shift, highlighted by a quote from Major General Saeed Al-Thani, the former internal security advisor for the state of Qatar. He says, "In the digital age, the best defense isn't just walls or gates, it's invisibility and anticipation." It's so true, right? Waiting for an alert to go off is completely obsolete at this point. It's like locking the barn door after the horse is already bolted. True security means you have to anticipate the threat before it even hits. Moving on to Section 2, how to vet providers using the human lens. So when you're sizing up a cybersecurity firm, the guide insists you shouldn't get distracted by shiny buzzwords like AI or machine learning. Cut through the noise with these 6 brutally honest questions. First, check their real-world track record. Demand those before and after breach metrics. Second, verify the team's expertise. You want battle-tested red teamers, not just a bunch of junior analysts learning on your dime. Third, demand ROI guarantees. Fourth, check those response times. You need help in minutes, not hours. Fifth, ask about proactive threat hunting. And finally, ensure they can actually scale with your business as it grows. Now, here is a fascinating claim from the source. They say most generic vendors will actually flinch or straight up refuse to answer these questions because it exposes their weak spots. But a true, highly capable security partner, they'll welcome the scrutiny. They'll step right up to the plate. The guide is pretty blunt here. If a vendor dodges these questions, just cross them off your list entirely.
All right, Section 3, ranking 7 security specialties in a complete market breakdown.
Now, just to be completely transparent here as an impartial explainer, Atlant Security did author this guide, and they do rank themselves as the #1 provider across all 7 of these upcoming categories. We're simply reporting the landscape exactly as they've laid it out. First up is Managed Detection and Response, or MDR. Atlant places themselves at #1, pointing to their 24/7 Global Security Operations Center mixed with local rapid response. CyberQ and SilkShield are right behind them, noted for solid threat monitoring systems and user behavior analytics. The big takeaway for you? Continuous human-machine hunting eliminates your blind spots. Next up, penetration testing and red teaming. Atlant's adversary emulation tops the list, but I want to try your attention to the #2 spot, Gulf Pen Test. The guide specifically calls out their deep industrial control systems and SCADA testing. That is absolutely critical for Qatar's massive oil and gas clients. Your testing literally has to match the physical and industrial realities on the ground in the region. Then there's cloud security. Let me translate the jargon for a second. The guide points out that a staggering 30% of cloud breaches are just caused by misconfigurations. It's not some super sophisticated hack. Somebody literally just left the digital front door open. Because of that, continuous posture checks, which Atlant lists as their top specialty, are vital, right alongside the container security offered by CloudGuard Qatar. Wrapping up the specialties, the source really hammers home the need for threat intelligence focused specifically on the GCC region, simply because local attackers tend to share tactics. They also cover embedding compliance right into your projects, using managed firewalls with self-optimizing rules so legitimate traffic isn't slowed down, and securing industrial and IoT setups by microsegmenting operational networks. Let's move to Section 4, Case Studies in Action. This is where theory meets reality. The guide shares a really powerful case study of a major Qatari bank. Their challenge? undetected lateral movement in their core payment systems. Basically, an attacker was moving sideways through their network, completely unseen. Scary stuff. The fix was full-spectrum MDR and continuous red teaming. And the measurable business impact is wild. Incident costs plummeted by 65% in just 6 months. And honestly, the most critical metric from that bank story is this: 45 to 2 days. That represents their dwell time, which is the amount of time a hacker is just hanging out, hidden inside the system before getting caught. By switching to proactive hunting, they aggressively slashed that massive vulnerability window from a month and a half down to just 48 hours. Here's another quick example involving a fintech startup. They were dealing with cloud misconfigurations that were actively exposing customer personally identifiable information. Huge liability. By rolling out automated cloud audits, they fixed those gaps in 48 hours. The result? They passed a ridiculously strict PCI DSS payment security audit on their very first try. Talk about saving your market reputation. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Future Trends and Costs, the 2026 Roadmap. So what's coming next? The guide demystifies a few future trends every business leader needs to prep for. Zero trust everywhere basically means traditional network parameters are dead. Identity is your new checkpoint. SaaS convergence is all about blending networking and security at the edge. And post-quantum picto, that's preparing for the day quantum computers break our current encryption. The advice is to start following NIST standards right now. Now, what is incredibly refreshing about this source is that they actually give you a transparent look at pricing, which most vendors guard like a state secret. Atlant outlines these specific packages for the Qatar market in Qatari rials. A Platinum MDR and SOC package sits at 750,000 QAR. Red and Purple Team Ops are at 450,000, and a Cloud Security Proof of Concept is listed at 300,000 QAR. To sweeten the deal, they outline some limited-time offers, like a free 30-day MDR pilot and a virtual CISO session. But the real showstopper here is their 90-day ROI guarantee. They actually state that if you don't see 50% lower incident costs, they work for free until you do. From a C-suite perspective, that is a massive transfer of risk away from you, the buyer, straight onto the vendor. So, as we wrap up this explainer, based on everything we've unpacked from the guide today, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Is your current cybersecurity spend an investment, or is it a liability? I challenge you to take that vetting framework we talked about, go ask those 6 brutal questions of your own organization and your current vendors, and see where you truly stand. Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep asking the hard questions, and we'll see you next time.